What are you training for?
Life.
Welcome to Train for Life, a podcast brought to you by ISI Elite Training. I'm Adam Rice, founder and CEO, and we'll be hosting this alongside Amanda Hall, our COO. Tune in weekly as we explore topics on personal and professional development to help you level up in all aspects of your life. We call this Training for Life.
All right, guys, welcome to Train for Life podcast, and I am here with our guest, Evelyn Osio.
Yes.
I've got it right. So Evelyn is actually our franchise partner of our ISI Miami location and Brickell, but also mom, athlete, recently HYROX athlete. I would say just powerhouse, I think, individual overall, like just the way you, like, not just from everything that you do, but who you are as a person. I know I'm inspired by you. I think a lot of our, even our brand, I think is inspired by you. And so I really just kind of want to dive in with you a little bit kind of around the topic of just, I know you recently have done how many HYROX now?
6.
6. So you've done 6 HYROX, but I would say really want to talk about like you as being an athlete. I think even before that, just working out, whether that's ISI, whatever you were doing then. Talk a little bit about like before HYROX and then how you got interested in that part of it, but then more or less what did that do for you to like want to, I would say, because I've seen such a difference in you from like sharing your journey of nutrition or running, all those things.
Yes.
So really, where did that all start?
Well, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for that warm
Yes.
introduction. Sometimes I don't, it feels weird to hear it from another person, and especially from you, that I also feel inspired by you. You are also a mom. You are our COO here at ISI Elite Training, and a wife. So it's from both sides. But everything from my fitness journey started when I was very young. I remember my best friend from high school had a membership in a gym. So she took me once with her when I was around 17 years old. And I immediately talked to my mom and said, like, I want to work out here. It's
Wow.
like so much fun. We were doing like step classes,
Yes.
Zumba, like all the fun stuff. That's how I started. More younger, I was in sports at school, gymnastics and volleyball and kicking ball, like anything. I would love to participate. It wasn't like a professional level or anything like that, but I enjoyed it very much, yes. So that's how everything started, and from there, I've been jumping from one discipline to another, maybe bodybuilding with a personal trainer. Then I moved to here to USA in Miami, and I started CrossFit for a while. So I've done a little bit of everything, and I'm very passionate. Like whenever I start something, I'm like
You're in it.
And like,
Yes.
okay, I buy the shoes and I buy the gloves, and I try to do my best. And when I fell in love with ISI, that I came here for discovery when we're looking to, invest into a business. I'm the type of owner that you're going to see in the sessions all the time.
You bleed green.
Yes. Like I love our product. I enjoy being among my members and share the sessions and, lift each other up during the sessions. And then that's basically our story. And then we heard about HYROX, and yes, we felt very much intrigued into,
Right.
Are we able to do this, because...
Okay, so how did you go from I heard it to I signed up? Did somebody say you have to do this with me?
Well...
Like somebody brought you along, or were you like, I'm doing it, you're doing it with me?
I was like, I wanted to do it because HYROX came in the perfect moment. I was about to turn 40 years old. So I was like, okay.
You look so good.
Like I need to do, thank you. I need to do something, to boost my fitness because, I don't want to decline. I want to go move and improve,
Right.
So it was perfect. I don't remember exactly. I think like the first time that HYROX came to our facility, I couldn't do it because that weekend I was away. I was in Orlando with my family, so I didn't join. But we were able to send about 5 people from our staff. It was at the Miami Beach HYROX, which was on the sand. So this one,
Wow.
it was a different setting. And it was, I think, one of the toughest HYROX they have ever.
They had to
put
run on the
together.
sand?
They had to run in the sand, and
Yes.
the sand was supposed to be hard sand, but it wasn't hard sand. So it was tough. It was tough. And the funny thing is that, or the amazing thing was that one of our coaches and members placed on podium spots. So it was very, very encouraging to see, right? So the next HYROX, I was like, okay, I'm not missing this one. Let's sign up. So we got more than, I believe, 40 people to sign up from Miami and the Miami location. At that time, I think Brickell wasn't open yet. It was February, so it was the month that Brickell opened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I signed up by myself, like single division. Most of the people, I think I was the only woman that was doing single among our members and staff. I was the only one. So I just did it because I was like, listen, this is, and the reason why we joined is because it's very similar to what we do in ISI. Like we face challenge, and doesn't matter what's your fitness level.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you have done it before or not. We're gonna get you through it. So I thought about this is the same concept. Just do it. Doesn't matter how.
Once you commit, you're gonna go
what's
in.
your time or how fast you do it. Just like complete it. So that's how I started, and I mean, for me it was amazing because then after doing one, I wanted to do the next one, and that made me commit to my training, my nutrition. I'm not only eating because I'm eating or I want to look a certain way. I want to perform a certain way. So now I see food as fuel for my sessions, and making sure I eat the right carbs, the protein, the good fats.
I was gonna say, like, so from before, when I think one of the things that I've seen in you from this is just this ignited, and I think, like you said, like, hey, it's helped me recommit to my training and that, but also this probably more of a focus, right? In the sense of, and I think it's really cool because I feel like you've done such a good job, I think, of sharing your journey. I think you share a lot of the journey of life. You're very relatable, and I love that. So from nutrition standpoint, did you have any knowledge of like how to track the macros? So how to do that before, or did you have to kind of learn through this, like, or change it, or like where did that, like, how did you get the knowledge of this is how I want to eat?
Well, I always had some kind of knowledge, and before I did some plans with my coaches, or I did different type of nutrition approaches, keto, low carbs, high carbs. So I've tried different things. Also, I think I've gotten more knowledge with our challenge that we do at ISI when we have incorporated macro stacks or any other platform that we use to track our macros. And I always knew that the best way, to have like results like with precision is tracking your macros, knowing exactly how much protein you're eating, are you hitting your goal, your carbs, your fats, all of that, your calorie intake throughout the day, etc. So I had the knowledge was there, but what was the thing that wanted me to inside of me that was like, oh, I want this for me because I need to get to certain muscle mass to be able to do this. So I think having signed up for something was the motivation to get this done, like having the why, the desire to perform certain way.
Right. What do you feel like has been the biggest difference? Like, how has that impacted you physically and mentally, just from a recommitment to your training at ISI and then nutrition and even running now? Like, how do you feel like that is like, what's been the biggest thing that you feel like maybe it's just discipline. Something that has changed? Yeah,
being more disciplined because just having that goal there is clear. It's not like, oh, I want to get abs. No, like, and there is a date and there is a time when you have to show up and perform. And I don't really care what people around me is gonna say or do, but I care of the work that I put in and the results that I'm gonna get that day. So you're gonna want to show up, and it's not a secret that we not always feel like we want to eat certain foods, or that we want to show up for a workout that is gonna put you in an uncomfortable position when you're, if you ask me, during training, most of my training felt really hard, and I was tired. I was, maybe going through an injury that I had on my foot with my Achilles, so I had to be careful and, listen to my body, but at the same time, not have that as excuse not to show up to an upper body session, for example. Like, you're not using your feet, so
like, you still gotta go.
Yeah. So.
Well, what do you think I think as women, oftentimes I love what you said about even in ISI, like, it doesn't really matter what level you are, you can come in and do it, right? So there really is like no excuse to say I couldn't do it, which we all know, but I still think oftentimes I think all of us, not just women, but I think we struggle to choose ourselves. Like, we may know we can do it, but it's like we don't want to give ourselves permission to do it for whatever reason. Like, we're overwhelmed, or maybe we're just in a place where we're like, it's just not the right timing for me, but we know we want change. Like, what would you say to women when they're in that place where they feel like they're just kind of existing and they want to move from like that place? And I say this because you have 2 businesses that you're running on top of, a family, and you have an amazing husband we talk about, but you have all these things that you in a community and friends and life,
Yeah.
So how do you go from a place of like, I'm, those seasons where you're like, I'm just existing and I know I need something? What would you say to somebody it's like to give themselves permission or to make that decision?
Well, we all been there, right?
Yeah.
And I still have days where I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And especially certain days, you don't feel like doing anything, but it all passes.
Yeah.
Like I think it's key not to stay on those days and grab that feeling and stay with it. You have to let it go when it goes and take action, and know that, trust that choosing yourself is always gonna impact the way you show up as a mom, the way you show up for your employees, the way you show up for your husband. So I get it. Like, not every day is gonna be like, there's actually something on Instagram that I saw the other day that, people think that showing up and giving your 100% is only you're capable of that when you feel 100%.
Right.
Sometimes you feel 80%. Well, that 80% is your 100% of that day. So as long as you keep showing up, that's gonna add up. And I definitely feel a difference now that I show up for myself and I choose myself. And my kids may complain about it on the weekends. For example, Saturdays we do HYROX workout on Saturday mornings, so they always are waiting for the weekend to do something. So the first thing in the morning they ask, what are we doing today? So I always let them know. So we're gonna go to ISI.
Do you take them with you when you go there? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna complete my workout, and then we can, do something else. We go to the beach, or we prepare everything, and from ISI we go directly to the pool or the beach or whatever it is that they want to do, or to the jumping park, something more
fun.
Yeah, for them.
Yeah.
And I think that has been key. Like, okay, like, they're important. My kids are important, and I want to see them happy. But when I check my box, it's also the way I show up is just different. It's just different.
I love that what you said too about if you're feeling 80% and you show up and you gave it 80%, that was your 100% for that day. Whether you believe in manifesting what's happening around you, but you're getting back what you're putting in. So when you think about if you want to, have people around you show up as their best self, but then you're showing up in a place where you're not yours, you're gonna get from other people what you're giving to them. So I think too, like, part of that filling your cup, like working out, committing to those things that you're doing, like showing up in that energy, that in that space where you feel good, then you're going to naturally get the people around you to show up with that same amount of energy. And
Correct.
I think one thing I'll say, and even when I love visiting Miami and Brickell locations, selfishly, because it's like the energy is so great and everyone is so encouraging. And I think you've done you and your team have done such an amazing job of creating this space where, like, it doesn't really matter what your fitness level is, you're going to come in and find a community. And my thing is, like, saying even to women, like, if you feel like you're in that place where you're just existing and you don't know where to start, you have to get around other people, like, too. Like, you have to say, like, I'm going to do it on a day I don't feel like it, or I'm going to do this even though it seems scary, like sign up for the HYROX solo, or those things. It's like when you make those moments, like if you had never signed up for that solo and just saw your team do it, you maybe didn't do it then, like you maybe wouldn't have done some of the things you've done in the past couple years,
And also when I sign up with a partner, because now you don't want to lay down the partner,
Yes.
And we're both working together. Some people, they even sign up as a partners from different cities. They train on their own and they meet at the race. But in my case, we train together. We show up. Running was also new to us. So that is something else that was a challenge for me and I wanted to get better at. And, it's not something that I deeply love. So it was like creating this new habit, and like also, knowing that after my first HYROX, I said, okay, this is more running than I thought. And as
how many? It's 5 miles.
It's 5.20, so eight kilometers in total, and then you have the stations in between, 8 stations too. So you have to run on fatigue legs, basically. So that is another type of running too. So that's why we created the running clubs and started like also giving the opportunity to our members that sign up for this event to run, because there was only not a challenge in the strength, but in the endurance part mainly, on the running. So that's
How much are you running now? How much do you run during the week?
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3 times
Do
a
you
week.
love it now, or do you still?
I have my days.
Okay. I was just curious. Like, did the habit I used to run. I actually, before I ever did any type of weight or strength training, I was running. And then now that I strength train, I struggle, because I love strength training so much, I struggle to want to run. I can't find that. So for me, it would definitely be the choice of like discipline to train for something. It would get me back into it though.
Yeah. So we do.
Or a team or a group. Running with a group.
Yeah, running with a group, it's excellent. Yeah. Because you're not alone, and you have different people with different experiences, different levels, and they also are gonna share with you, how they move from point A to point B to being better, to lasting longer, or So it's very nice, and the community aspect there is there too. It's very motivating. But it all the we have grown the run club to a place that now we do track days, and we go to the track and we do intervals. So it's like it's very nice, and the passion that you have on the it's more on the track day is similar to the intensity of ISI workout, for example. Right. So it's fun. It's fun. That part is fun. That's what I think. That's the part that I like the most.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, just kind of in wrapping up. Well, one, when are you doing your next HYROX personally?
Next one is going to be in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. And you're doing
October
single?
3rd. I'm doing singles.
Okay.
And I only signed up for this one because after doing Miami alone and having a PR, I really thought that I could have pushed myself a little bit more, because that's the other part that, you know, you have to, after doing several, then you know if you could have pushed yourself a little more or not. And this is an endurance race, so you have to like basically learn how to manage your energy throughout the race. Right. But that's the challenge. Where's my sweet spot where I'm uncomfortable, but I can last an hour like that in that place. Yeah. So, or base your energy and push a little harder. More. Yeah. So it's
what is something for you that is a non-negotiable?
Something that is not negotiable.
Something for you, just whether it's personally or like that you, for showing up for yourself, I should say, that's a non-negotiable.
Food.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is meat, steak.
I was gonna say, I almost had written down one like to ask you what your favorite protein snack is, but I'll go with, we know it's meat and steak.
Yes. And I say food because there's some people that they train first and they don't eat, and then they go do groceries, and then I can't do that. I have to wake up, have my coffee and my breakfast. For a period of time I did fasting in the mornings, but not anymore.
Yeah, I used to do that too, intermittent fasting, or my window was I didn't eat until 10 a.m. And you know what I finally realized? I didn't really see a difference in my body from it, but I didn't feel my best. I don't know. And through doing it now, I'm the same way. It's like if I'm going to work out, I have to have something, or I can't push as hard. All right, what's your guilty pleasure?
I'm not into sweets, but
at all? No? Well, that's right. You're not a very what about dessert?
Not really. Ice cream is nice.
Yeah.
Or when we go to dinner or something like that. But I'm very into healthy, smoothies, protein shakes. I love that. Acai bowls.
Yes.
I think those are
That's your jam?
Yes.
Is there one, like a quote or a mantra or something that sticks out to you that you resonate with personally?
A what?
Like a mantra, is there like a saying or something or a quote that you're like, this is something right now that in your life sticks out to you that you resonate with?
Well, you know that it's funny because I started using mantras for running. So I have to call out my coach. He's a member at ISI Miami, but he's a Ironman athlete. He has done it a couple times, and he was the person I reached out to when I wanted to start the run club. Is Sebastian.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know, he always told me, like, when you get to a dark place in running where your legs are giving up, you're tired, remember always that your mind is stronger than your body. So we started saying mantras. So his mantra that I adopted is, you don't know me, son.
You don't know me, son?
You don't know me, son. And I like that because, you know, you always want to show up better with a new version of yourself, improved.
Yeah.
So you don't know. Maybe you have seen something in the past from me, but what I'm bringing is new and is better.
I love that.
So I like that one.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. And I would say for you guys who are in Miami area, you should check out ISI Elite Training Miami and Brickell. And I would say across Iron Nation, you guys should follow Evelyn. She is not only just an overall amazing, badass woman, I would just say that, but she's always sharing great inspiration and tips, and you can see all the amazing things they're doing there. But you are an inspiration, and I just thank you so much for taking time today. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on the turf.
Thank you.